Okay, guys. So I'm gonna go over what's for homework today and how to read this correctly. Okay. So welcome back from your Thanksgiving break. Hopefully you had a great Thanksgiving. Um, Today is the 29th, and this activity will take us 2 days more or less. Okay. So let me open this. So we have two items to complete. Okay. Our Google form of the day, which has the prompts of the day, another maybe it has a YouTube video that I put there. It also repeats this link. Okay, so I'm gonna start with this one first before I even go to this one. So we're gonna go here. Now here, it tells you what you're learning for today, which we're still working with um, rates and ratios, right? That's what our main focus. We're gonna solve this proportionally with proportions, proportional situations. Okay, go right here, you write your name, you will write your last name, your ID number, next. You do have a quick video from Math Antics you can watch to make sure that in case you still want to know a little bit more about rates and ratios that you're still confused, I would go ahead and watch it. Okay. Now the spiral problems of the day, those are very important because this is problems that we've done throughout the year, and it's just to make sure that you can still remember how to solve them, the strategies that we discussed during class. So these are due today, so make sure you submit at the end. So these are not the answers, just so you know, these are not the answers. I'm going to just select randomly just for the purposes of the video. But this one wants you to go from greatest to least. So obviously, if we're going from greatest to least, I'm going to make sure that I draw a number line to make sure that I put the numbers in the right order using a number line. And then I can figure out greatest to least. Now, greatest to least, I'm going to go from the right to the left on my number line and check which ones are placed incorrectly in the correct order. Any one that's correctly placed, then you're going to select it. So let's pretend this is not the answer, guys. So if I think that's correctly ordered from greatest to least, I'm going to select it, and you can select more than one answer. Okay? As a matter of fact, it says select all that are correct, so trust me, there's going to be more than one answer. I'll even give you a hint. Okay? In this particular problem, it will have, let me make sure, three answers. So there'll be three of them that are correctly ordered and two of them that are not correctly ordered. Okay, so make sure that you are careful. Draw a number line for each of the numbers to make sure that you are ordering them correctly. Okay. Again, greatest to least, and like I said, right now, three of them are correctly ordered. So you need to find which are those three, and that's what you're gonna do for this one. The next one, again, these are not the answers. I'm just choosing randomly so you can select, so I can move on because if not, again, I'm just choosing randomly. These are not the answers. You need to figure out the answers by working on your homework journal on the site. Now this one is operations of integers because we do have negatives here, okay? And we have addition. This is in a group in parentheses. So PEMDAS is one of the strategies that I'm gonna have to utilize. That means I want to do this one first and then do the next one. But of course, since there's integers, there's negatives and positives, I have to use the integer rules. So I have to go back and decide am I gonna use the rule if the signs are the same? I'm going to use a rule if the signs are different. Am I going to use the rule when there's a double negative? Am I going to use the Dorito man? Okay, so all those strategies, you need to figure out which one is it, solve it on your homework journal, and then select only one answer is the one that you're going to select. This guy is going from fraction to percent. So I need to figure out how do I go from fraction to decimal first, which we use the bottom out, and then we go to percent. Okay, and you'll find the answer. Again, this one only has one particular answer, one answer only. The next one is coordinate geometry, coordinate planes. We did that before we left on vacation. So all I need to do is read carefully. They want me to move 4 units to the left of the y-axis and then 3 units to the above the x-axis. So based on that statement, I need to select which one describes that order pair. Okay, which order pair describes those movements on the coordinate plane. You need to draw a coordinate plane, draw one. Uh, that might help you. On this one, there's many ways you can do this. I mean, I probably would change this to decimals to money, and then these are already in decimals, so I can figure out which ones are equivalent. And then these, I would change them also to money, to decimal, and then anything that's worth this one, once I change this guy to decimal, I'll figure out what. Again, this one has more than one answer. Okay. I'll give you a hint also. From these, you will find five of them are correct. Okay, so make sure you once you select the answers. Again, these are not the answers. I'm just choosing randomly. Okay, you're gonna click next. Now this one is the same link. This is the same link as the one here. So you don't have to reopen it. If you already opened the one over here, then you don't have to open it again. But I did put it again in case you want to get back to it. That's what I'm going to work on right now. So again, what we just went over right now is basically the problems of the day. Okay, there's always going to be 5 or 4 problems. Once I answer all those 5 problems of the day, you're going to click submit. Don't worry about this link because it's already over here on your assignment details. It's right there also, so you don't have to worry about that link. You click submit. Anytime that you submit, you can go check your score. If you don't like the score, you may go try again. Make sure that you correct all the work on the homework journal. You can't just be choosing randomly. I want you to show the work if you want me to give you credit. Okay? So all you have to do is click on edit my responses and you can go try again. The highest you can get if you go try again will be a 70. Okay? And of course, once you try it again and you fix your questions, your answers, you can always um, submit again and then check your score. Hopefully it becomes better. If I am scoring poorly on the problems of the day, guys, if I know that I'm scoring poorly on the problems of the day, which is this one, the spiral problems of the day, I need to stay for tutorial because that means that I am having trouble with the old stuff and I forgot the old stuff. That means I never really learned the old stuff. So if you're having trouble with the spiral problems of the day, you need to stay for tutorial, guys. Okay. Okay. Now let's leave that, and now we're gonna go to this link. Now this one is what we're really learning this week, which is ratios and proportional problems with the word problems. So I'm gonna go ahead and model the ones that I already did with you in class. I'm gonna read them again. So let me clear this one because I don't want it to show. Let me clear it. Okay, so let's click on this link. We're gonna begin with Google. This is the actual assignment for today. The other ones were just reread problems. So we have, I'm gonna give you today 1 through 6 only. That's it. So you will not click submit on this one. You're only gonna click finish later, and I'll be grading them manually from the my screen. So make sure you do not click submit. You're gonna click finish later once you're done with 1 through 6. I'm going to do half of them right now, so you really have 3 for homework plus the ones that I went over, which is total of 5. I want you to work this on your homework journal. So I'm just gonna get loose leaf paper for purposes of showing you, but you need to do it on the loose leaf paper. So I'm gonna do number 2 with you right now. It says it takes one super giant pizza to feed 3 people. If you invite 36 people, how many pizza will you need? So quickly I noticed that the word two, okay, and it's one pizza to 3 people. So that is called a ratio. Okay, so once I notice that this is a ratio, I can go to my paper. Or I want you to do it on your journal. Okay, I'm doing it on paper because the journals I use them in class with you all. So you're gonna write number 2, and I already noticed that we have 1 pizza to 3 people. So my ratio is pizza to people. So that's my ratio, 1 to 3. This is called a ratio. And once I know it's a ratio, and I'm following our problem solving process, guys. Okay, so what I'm doing right now at this moment is analyzing the information. I'm getting the information from the story, and I notice that we have a ratio. And once I know that I have a ratio, it says formulate a plan or strategy. So my plan or strategy I've been telling you is that I like to solve these type of problems proportionally. So I'm going to create a proportion. A proportion is two ratios that are equivalent, that are equal. Okay? So I need to find out what these two numbers are, the new ratio. So I'm going to go back to my story. And my story says, if you invite 36 people, so now they just told me right now that there's going to be 36 people being invited. So instead of 3, now it becomes 36. Okay? Now, why did I put the 36 on the bottom? It's because those are the people that I'm inviting. Let me go back to the question so I can see how many pizzas will 36 people get. Let's see, they give me that information. So if I go back, it actually says how many pizzas will you need. So basically, I do not know how many pizzas will I need, so I'm going to call that x. In mathematics, when we don't know something, we use a variable to represent the unknown. Okay? So I have set up a proportion here. Two ratios that are equal. We have the unknown of x. So I told you before we left on vacation, I said we can do cross products here. We can go 3 times x will be 3x. 36 times 1 will be 36. So all I did, I cross multiplied. 3 times x, 3x. 36 times 1, 36. What you created here is called an algebraic equation. So I need to figure out what the x represents so I can know how much pizzas there is, because that's what we're trying to find the x. So to figure out what the x represents, I need to get rid of this 3. In algebra, to get rid of something, we do the inverse. So since this means multiplication, this means 3 times a number equals 36. I'm going to do the inverse, which is to divide by 3. And that's why I tell you, think of the sum, divide both sides by the number with a letter. Divide both sides, divide both sides by the number with a letter. So this 3 and this 3, they cancel out. So that's what we want. We want the x to be all by itself. Now 36 divided by 3, I can go to the side. 36 divided by 3. And 1 times 3 is 3. Bring down the 6. 3 times 2 is 6. So x equals 12. Now, if you're a student that can use a calculator, okay, that you're able to use a calculator, you still have to do all the process, right? All my work and understand that this is a proportional situation. But instead of having to calculate this, I can actually use my calculator. And just remember that you punch in the numerator first, so 36, right? 36. The fraction mark means divide, so I'm going to punch in divide by 3. And I get the same answer as 12. Now, I want to remind you that in the start, when you have a griddable, it'll look like this. So it's important that once I'm ready to punch it in, that I don't keep it as 12, because if you keep it as 12, many kids put the 12 here. You guys have a habit and put the 12 right there. Okay, so some of you come and put 12 here. And now you messed up the problem because uh, that's not where it belongs. Okay, so it's important that we're careful. So what I told you to do is that once you have an answer like 12 holes, I want you to quickly say, okay, this is a positive 12, and make it like money, 12.00. The reason I do that is like that, you're able to transfer it correctly this time. You'll be able to say, okay, it's a positive situation, and 12 point, there's the point already for you right there. So it's going to be 12.00. And then, of course, we bubble, right? We bubble. Okay, make sure you bubble completely in the start. You're going to be clicking and you'll be bubbled it. Okay, so once you click, you'll bubble the whole thing. So that's the reason that we want to change the the host to like money, like $12. Okay, because of the gridable. Okay, don't forget to put positive. Now, how am I going to punch it in my homework? You're going to click on the box. You're going to hold the shift button down and put positive 12.00, no spaces, guys. Okay, so again, the plus sign is the character that's on top of the equal sign. So to be able to get that character, I need to hold down the shift button and then press it down so you can get the positive sign. If it was a negative, you would just press this without the shift button because the negative is the one on the bottom. So if it's negative, you're just gonna press that one. But if it's positive, I do have to hold the shift button and then put positive. Okay. Once you're done with that one, you will do number one exactly the same way. Now let me do number four. Okay. So once you're done your homework, this is on your homework journal, you can go ahead and put a little bubble around so Mr. Rivera knows that everything inside this is number two. For number four, we're gonna go read the story and first get the information that they give me, right? So number four says Mary saved 1750 in the past 3 weeks. So I saw the word in, there's the word rate, so I know it's about a ratio again, so I'm gonna solve it proportionally. So 1750 in 3 weeks. So I already know that the ratio is 1750 to 3. I need to label this 1750 is money, what she saved. So I'm going to put a dollar symbol there. And the 3 is the weeks that she did this. Since this is a ratio, Mr. Ivan wants you to solve this through a proportion to create another ratio that is equivalent. Okay? Let me go read the story and see what else they tell me. At this rate, how much will she save in 15 weeks? So now they're saying, you know what? We want 15 weeks. So the 15, since the weeks is on the bottom, the 15 will be on the bottom because those are the weeks. Now the question says, how much will you save? So that's the unknown, so that will be the x. What you just set up is two ratios that are equal. That is called a proportional situation. So now I'm going to just go ahead and cross products. 3 times x, that would be 3x. 15 times 1750. Okay, so that I cannot do it mentally. I'm going to go to the side. 1750 times 15. Now I told you that when you're multiplying decimals, you can eliminate the decimal for now, so it can be easier for you. And then we'll place it back at the end. When you're multiplying decimals, we can do that. 5 times 0 would be 0. 5 times 5 would be 25. Then I'm going to regroup the 2. 5 times 7 is 35 plus 2 is 37. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3 is 8. Cross it out and put a 0. And cross out these two also because those were part of the regrouping with dealing with the 5. Then we start again. 1 times 0, 0. 1 times 5, 5. 1 times 7, 7. And 1 times 1, 1. We add them up. 0, 5, 12, 16, and 2. So right now the answer looks like 26,250. However, there was two decimal places. So I need to go back to 1, 2, and put back the decimal. We need to put back the decimal because we were multiplying decimals. Now, if you're a calculator kid, if you're a student with a calculator, you will not remove the decimal. Let the calculator take care of everything. 17.50 times 15. And you see you got the same answer. You can add a zero at the end since we want to think like money, right? So 262.50. Okay, we have the algebraic equation. 3 times a number equals 262.50. We'll try to find that number. So to find that number, we're going to do the inverse of multiplication. So the inverse of multiplication is divide both sides by the number with the letters. So this 3 cancels that. And this I have to go to the side again. 262.50, bottom out, the bottom stays on the outside, divided by 3. The calculator kid, again, you're just going to punch it in, and it should pop out the answer. The kids without the calculator, we're going to have to go place value by place value. 2, that's not enough for 3, so I'm going to put a 0. 26 times 8, that would be 24. Okay, so I'm done with the second one. Now the third one comes down. Times 7, that's 21. Now you see this decimal, it needs to come up. Now you can bring down the 5. 3 times what gives me 15 times 5, that's 15. Bring down the last 0. 0, that's not enough, so my answer is 87.50, and it is positive. Okay, so I'm done with that. The student with a calculator, again, what you would do, you would just punch in 262.50. You punch in the top number first. The fraction bar is divide by 3, and the answer is 87.5, but we add a 0 because we think of money. So that's number 4. So I'm going to go to my, click on it, positive 87.50. That would be number 4. So your homework will be number 3. Okay, so I did number 4. Now you can do number 3. Okay. The next one is number 5. I'm going to do number 5, and you'll do number 6. So number 5 says, Mr. Johnson was paid 190 for a job that required 40 hours. At this rate, how much? Okay, so I already saw the word rate. So I'm going to set up a proportion again because that's our strategy for Mr. Rivera. So the ratio is 190 to 40 hours. So this is number 5. 190 to 40 hours. Okay, so $190 to 40 hours. And then let me go back. And we have 60 hours now. So 60 hours would go on the bottom. And next will be here. And then you do the same thing. I'm going to stop there. Your questions for today is 1 through 6 plus the other 5 columns. Hopefully that helps you. It'll be on the YouTube channel.